What does sacrifice mean to you? It means being selfless. Committed. Now, our tradition here is unlike any other. We're family. Now, Ray, these scholarships are yearly. You perform on the field, you perform in the classroom, and if you don't, they take that all away.
Yes, Coach.
You can't be satisfied. There's no guaranteed spot on my team.
It's my brother, again.
Baymar.
It's Mama.
Ray, earlier this morning, I got her into a 30-day inpatient program.
We'll be placing Faymar in foster care.
Can't I just have a family member watch me?
It's cool. You should be getting back to school anyway. I'll be good.
Something in me's awakened.
Wait. I'll take him.
All the naysayers stayed praying that I wouldn't make
I
it.
had to bring my little brother to live with me on campus.
Had to look inside, find a motivation. May we build bridges and break limits.
Mom's gone. It's just you and me.
Trying to make a better way when the day's finished.
You don't have to do this on your own.
For the future, we winning if they winning. This is our story. I just want to leave a page in it.
Why are you helping me?
Everyone's family here.
This is where you rise. This is where you shine.
My brother and I had it kind of tough growing up.
History in the making.
Clemson has given me the opportunity to change my life.
Come on!
My coaches, my teammates. These men are my brothers, too.
History in the making. You've been waiting for this your whole life.
Hi, my name is Gil Robertson, president of the African American Film Critics Association. Today on AAFCA Roundtables, we have the team responsible for the upcoming Disney Plus film, Safety. Ray Elrathaby, director Reginald Hudlin, and also star of the film, Jay Reeves. We'll kick things off by introducing our AAFCA members who are taking part in the roundtable today, starting with Brandon Collins in New York, Mercedes Springer in Atlanta, JONITA Davis in Michigan City, Indiana, Brandon Avery in Dallas, Texas, and KATHIA Woods in Philadelphia. I'm going to let you guys do what you do so well, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hello, everyone. Mercedes here in Atlanta with She Critiques. We know that student athletes are always under tremendous pressure to perform both personally and academically, and we see a little bit of how that's impacted Ray throughout the film. Ray, can you talk about how you handled the pressure of your circumstances at that time? And Mr. Hudlin, how did you structure the film to support showing those pressures but still keeping it entertaining?
Well, I was having normal college struggles as most kids. But I guess, I was already serious about education for the most part. I graduated in 3 years, so like it was tough, but it wasn't nothing too crazy. I just stayed consistent with it, which more so with, I think, is the most important part about it, just kind of staying consistent and doing what you gotta do to get it done. As far as education. So, but for most student athletes, it's a balancing act. It's about time management more so than anything. As long as you take the necessary breaks to from actually living the crazy life of a college student to doing, you gotta sit down and you gotta buckle up and do your work is, I guess the advice I would give as far as student athletes are concerned.
I mean, for me, understanding the stakes were really important for the movie to work. So, I wanted to make a couple of things very clear. That the demands of, being a student athlete. I mean, the fact is the athletics part is a full-time job and the student part is a full-time job. I love that Ray just said, well, I graduated in 3 years and not that deep. I'm like, I can't imagine completing my college education in 3 years. I mean, that's just a testimony to who he is as a man. And I wasn't playing D1, D5, D anything football. So, you know, he's just an incredible high achiever who thrives under pressure. So we needed to establish that pressure. The fact that he wasn't taking 12 credits like every other athlete. He wanted to take 16 credits because, hey, if you're going to give me a free education, he's going to get that education. So, you know, he was focused on education. He was focused on excellence on the field. And then when it came to it, he was focused on taking care of his family. That's an enormous amount of responsibility. Any one of those things would take your whole mental, physical bandwidth. And he did all three. So, you know, to respect his achievement, you had to understand the challenges.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Enjoyed the film.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Brandon Council Media Popcorn Podcast. My first question is for Reginald and Jay. What surprised you most about working on this project with an amazing story and supporting cast? And my question for Ray is, as someone who took many 18 credit semesters in college, what's your time management secret, man? Because that's incredible.
You go first, Jay.
Okay, well, this project was nothing short of amazing. It was a great time since day one. Meeting Reggie, who I was a big fan of going into this, it was just, I knew he would create an environment and also make a great project. So that I didn't have to think about. I just had to do my job. You know, I didn't have to worry about anything else. And he just made it so easy for me. Ray as well, when portraying him, he made it hard, but that making it hard helped me get to where I needed to be.
For me, again, I felt similarly blessed. From the time I read the script, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to make this movie. Everyone's going to love this. I felt really fortunate, you know, to work with Jay, an amazing actor who also had the requisite physical skills. I mean, you know, after his audition, we took him out to the field. He had to run, he had to throw, he had to catch, he had to hit. So we're like, okay, you can really play football. We're not going to do no cornball Hollywood thing. You got to be, you know, have the goods. And then the incredible blessing of meeting TJ, you know, because God, a kid actor, he's playing this giant part. You know, can he be funny? Can he be serious? Can he be disciplined to stay focused, you know, on these long shoot days? So, and, you know, when I look at the two of them, I just go, God, this is the beginning of a long, long career. Really, of everyone in this cast. I really see nothing but great things for all of them. And the best thing of all, meeting Ray. You know, Ray is, you know, he's a humble young man, but man, he pulled off a miracle.
And then as far as me with the time management, it was the opportunity, well, not necessarily opportunity, it was having structure that more so was the best thing for me. I didn't have a lot of time to play in between. So as long as I maintain my schedule and stay structured, I'll do fine. And I think most people would do fine if they kind of get into a system in which they can thrive. And luckily I was in a system that I could thrive in. And then in those times that chaos presented itself, that was something I was used to as well. Because my family used to function as, used to joke and say the only function we know is this. And so, we had our moments, and I think I do well under pressure, and sometimes to a fault, because a lot of the times I would procrastinate to create that pressure in order so I could feel as if I'm in my element, as I would say. There were some pitfalls and some shortcomings, but overall, if you stick to the script or a schedule or a structure, it all should work out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, I'm JONITA Davis from The Black Cape. I love the movie. And actually, my question is, after watching every other, sports movie that, I saw that this was a Disney movie, I had to worry, when I first saw this, that there was going to be this little, savory type of thing where it gets Disneyfied, and then you have the white person come in, save the black people. It didn't happen. I mean, I love the way that I love being surprised that it didn't happen. I mean, this was a story about Ray and Ray alone. So I want to ask for, Mr. Hudlin and Ray and even Jay, was there any concern or pressure or anything thinking that, okay, this is a Disney movie, do we have to tone down some of this, or worried about, some of this great work being, kind of stripped away later on?
You're right. I was very happy when I read the script that it didn't have the white savior. And Randy McKinnon, who was the guy who did, a tremendous amount of rewrites on the script, we talked about that very explicitly, about the fact that we wanted to make sure that the triumph was Ray's, Ray and his brother, and then that, and their decisions drove the community to help, and it went that way. And, in terms of the Disney watering down thing, that actually wasn't so much of an issue. I mean, I knew that, the Black community is tired of torture porn. So it wasn't like I wanted to wallow in, oh, look at the deprivation of the dark side of Black life. I mean, that wasn't what that was about. When you go to the projects are the projects. We're not going to act like it's all good, because it's not, but it wasn't like we're going to do a deep dive into pathology, because the fact is there are good people who live in the projects, and, around the corner, some people who are not good. And, so like every other part of our lives, there's a mix, there's a balance. And I wanted to show that, I want to show our lives from the inside out, no matter what class background you're coming from.
Yeah, and I agree with Reggie. I mean, going into this, I knew he was my director. So I knew, we were going to be okay, just from his past and what he's put on screen and done for our culture. Even playing Ray and looking at his story, I knew that it would be fine, because just the small wins, like a Black man in college, is something we need to see more of on TV, or a Black man being a father figure is something we need to see more of on TV, leaving the hood. These three things alone, and there's so many that go on as you read the script, that were just hitting me. And I knew that Disney doesn't fail when it comes to putting out movies. So the fact that they wanted to tell this story had me sold from the day I read it,
I was initially somewhat scared, because I know the drama in my story could be a little bit more than is appropriate for a Disney audience. But I mean, within the pain, there's some real truths. There's some things that are necessary for people to deal with, and I think it's necessary more so than any time than now. I think it's more necessary now because the struggle is real. And I was afraid that the struggle wouldn't be so real. But it was captured well in the movie. And I hope people know that it's a story of overcoming said struggle. So even though it's down times, and now is a downtime, that just continue to push forward, and hopefully you get the Disney in.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the scene where they pick Famar up, and he's acting a fool in the backseat, and he says, "Pull over," and it's like, and they have the showdown. Are we going this way? Or are we going that way? I mean, there's a lot of blackness in this movie, but that's the blackest thing ever, because we've either been that parent or we've been that kid. And we were given some hard choices. And this is where I'm very happy to be on Disney Plus, but man, I would love to be in a movie theater to watch a room full of people react to that. Because people be like, that's right, you better set him straight.
Yeah. And TJ just brings all of that. He's so true to his culture. You know, he's not trying to be anything that he's not. Just having scene partners like that, you know, when you get to a place like that, I feel like the environment wasn't about race. What we created was about this man, this Black man who's doing his thing. And I think that was the most important thing. Stepping up like that, Ray, you're incredible. And we wouldn't be here if we didn't have people like you in our culture.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, KATHIA Woods, Cup of Social. My question is for you, Ray. The thing that I think was really important to show is that addiction is a disease, and I'm glad they didn't make your mother look like a bad person. Do you know what I mean? That they, especially originally, you showed that she had a disease. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why that was important for that to be seen?
I think it's important because a lot of people, until most recently, maybe the last 2 or 3 years with the opioid crisis, a lot of times addiction wasn't looked at as a disease. It was criminalized. It was criminalized back, especially when in the early 90s and mid 90s, 2000 for all that sake. But it wasn't until 2015 that people started noticing it and dealing with it as the disease, as a mental health condition, as opposed to a criminal problem. But I think it was very important because I wanted to show my mom in if she was going to be in the movie, in the light in which she was in, as well as that she's not a terrible person. I love my mother. I've always loved my mother. And I thought that was important to make sure that that got across as well. That's why at the end of the movie, there's a picture of us together. And I wanted to make sure everyone knew that, because a lot of times in addiction, even if you went to like one of the Narcotics Anonymous meetings or Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, a lot of times they encourage people to hug, because in those times when you're addicted and you're dealing with your drug things, people don't want to touch you and people don't want to be around you. And so it was important to kind of bring just to show the struggle of that in real life, because it's a lifetime struggle. It's not like a 1 week thing or a 2 week thing. And I think that's important to see and to let other people know that even if they're parents and they've felt like they've done wrong by their kids or they haven't been the best parents they could be, that there's still time to step back in and speak up and just, you know, understand that we are not perfect and to continue to just try to do better. And so the love is still there, and I hope people see that in the movie, that I truly love my mother, and with everyone else with addiction, I hope they get better.
Thank you so much. Great film.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm Brandon Keith Avery with Just My Opinion Reviews. And first thing, Ray, I just got to say to you, sir, much respect to you, sir. You are the textbook example of what can be achieved through sacrifice. But something I want to ask you, you just said a few moments ago that you like the pressure and sometimes you would procrastinate to put the pressure on. So during your whole career, you know, at the university, did that ever backfire on you? And like, maybe what were some of the consequences, if you don't mind sharing? And for you, Jay and Reginald, I mean, it's a really touching film. I really did enjoy it. And that is one of the main things that I loved about this film, is the main theme line is about sacrifice and just how you have to do whatever you need to do to get things done. And I'm just wondering if either both of you or all three of you could talk about the importance of sacrifice in real life when you're trying to achieve your goals, or especially Jay and Reginald, possibly some sacrifices that you two have made in your film and television career that has made you as successful as you are today.
Okay, I'll start with when has procrastinating got in the way? I made it through undergrad very quickly. Without much of a struggle, but graduate school, I was at Howard, and my professor, I had always been able to, you know, make it up at that last moment, but she was like, "Nah, Ray, you're gonna fail this time," and I was like, "Oh," and it was emotional for me because it hadn't happened up until that point. It was like, oh, like I can't make it up. She was like, "Nope. It's just how you know, you got to make better decisions." And it was a growing up moment. I had to grow up. But then from that point on, I didn't play with her like that. I had to do what I had to do and get it done. So I guess the lessons from that is don't procrastinate. And it might work in undergrad, but grad school is a different monster.
Well, into sacrifice, I feel like anything you want to do that's a dream that you aren't necessarily at now takes sacrifice. It took this movie for me to realize how much sacrifice I put in my career to get here. You know, because we're doing all these interviews and these billboards are popping up around the city, and I work pretty much under every billboard at some point, you know, at a job. So just seeing the sacrifices and knowing my biggest sacrifice in every job was leaving. You know, I didn't have anything else, but I was the guy, once I got too comfortable at this temporary job, I forced myself to leave, and I forced myself to go out on that leap of faith. And that's what got me here today. So sacrifice is a big thing, and know your worth, most importantly.
Amen to all that. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois. You know, I grew up 2 doors down from where Ike met Tina. And, my circumstances were, more stable than Ray's. But still, in a town like that in the Midwest, you want to make movies? That sounds crazy, right? And I was determined, to do what I wanted to do, to fulfill my dream. And I remember, I come to school and the cafeteria is full all day, and there were people in there playing spades, playing tongue, and I'm like, no, if you in that room, you staying in that room, right? And it's just like, I have other plans. And so it's all about, the sacrifice of immediate gratification for the long-term gain. And that's okay. You can call me a nerd, you can whatever, I'm not cool as you. You're right. This is not my pinnacle. My pinnacle is going to be later. That's okay. I'm a big believer in sacrifice for the long-term gain. And, look, I live a pretty good life. So that sacrifice paid off.
Ray, Reginald, and Jay, thank you so much for participating in AAFCA Roundtables today. Safety opens up on Disney Plus December 11th. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Thank you.